All right, so today I wanted to start by talking about this whole Great Reset. Now, this is something that's it's been in the news, or at least not in the mainstream, but in the alternate news outlet. This is something that's been talked about a lot, and I mean, this was actually posted. This video here on Global was actually posted on September 29th. Um, so I don't know why it wasn't being talked about more at the time, but I just seen a tweet that went viral yesterday about it, and I thought I would talk about it. So anyway, Justin Trudeau basically admits on the video to talking about how they're using the whole virus thing as an excuse to implement a great reset. Now, again, I don't know what his exact words were. He talked about a economic reset as well, which I think we all know what that means. It's to push for socialism, which will probably lead to communism. Like, let's be honest about it. Like, do you actually think Justin Trudeau wants to have more of a free market? Well, I mean, of course not. So again, I mean, when it comes to economics, you either push more to the left or you're going to push more to the right. And there's no way Justin Trudeau is going to push more to the right, right? Like they're not. He's not going to like it would be the most milk toast boring, wouldn't even be a point of bringing up if he's like, yeah, we're gonna go back to running things the way we did in like the 50s, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. So I think it's very obvious, and especially considering how big of a fan of the UN Trudeau is, they're using it as an excuse to push for socialism, which will lead to communism. Now, for anybody that already isn't incredibly scared, like I'm not sure why you're not. Like, do you not understand history? Do you not understand where this kind of stuff leads? Um, where it leads is, totalitarianism, right? Like, they'll bring in social credit. They're going to bring in all of these, 1984 style, communist totalitarian ideas. And again, the reason why the average person scoffs at this, it's not because they're actually right. Like the average person hears this and they scoff at it, but the reason why they don't understand is that they're too ignorant to realize that whenever a government implements these kind of policies, they never do it overnight, right? And this is why the average person's dumb enough that a government could go from free market to communist authoritarian, and they wouldn't even notice it until literally the point of getting thrown in a gulag, right? Like, and the reason why is that they do it over a long period of time, right? Like this whole UN 2030 and all this garbage, it's been in the works for at least a decade, right? Like my guess is that they've had this whole great reset idea in their pocket, but they knew that they wouldn't be able to sell it to the general population, when times were good. So they had to wait until, a pandemic came along, right? Like they probably had this in their back pocket for like a decade, maybe even more. And all they had to do was wait for a good opportunity, and sure enough, it happened, right? Sure enough, it happened. And that's what they're doing with this, and it should scare the crap out of people. And again, the big problem too is that the average person is so ignorant that they're never going to realize it. They're never going to realize it, right? Because they still believe the garbage we're taught in schools about, oh, we have this great democracy and freedoms, even though we don't actually have much of a democracy or many freedoms, right? But again, they still believe the garbage. Um, they believe the garbage they see on TV. And I mean, you look at this video. I mean, it has 199 likes and 2,000 dislikes, right? The ratio here is absolutely insane. And I mean, you look at all the top comments, it's all critical. Like it's all the top comments are critical. So again, there is a lot of people that are awake to this. The problem is that they're afraid to talk about it with the average person, right? And here's the thing, I think we're past the point of being silent with the average person. Like I really think we're past that point, and it is unfortunate. Like it would be nice, but I think eventually we're going to get to a point where people just can't stay silent anymore, and you're going to have to risk losing relationships over it. Uh, that may be unfortunate, but that's probably the way it's going to be, because there's going to be a lot of people that you're friends with, or close family members, that are going to fully support this stuff, right? They're going to fully support this stuff. And the reason why I'm saying you're probably going to have to reconsider relationships is that by fully supporting this, they're supporting throwing you in a gulag for your political opinions, right? Or at the very least, not allowing you to travel, not allowing you to, do pretty much anything as a functioning person in society, right? Not allowing you to have a job. Again, so if people believe that, they're essentially saying that I believe that you should be thrown in jail for your political opinions. And you can't have functioning relationships with those people. It's just not possible. And if you do, then you have a lot of stuff going on that you should probably deal with. So that's a pretty scary thing to think about. And again, the best thing that people can do, people again are always wondering, you got to support people that are out there speaking the truth, and you got to share the information. Like, this is the reason why the left and all these crazy people constantly win, is that they do this kind of stuff. They organize very well, they share information, and I think that the reason at the end of the day that they win is that they're willing to use the unethical tactics required to win. Now, I'm not saying you should do that, but you got to do. People aren't doing enough, I guess, in the truth movement. And then, again, people watching this video probably exceptions to that rule, but you may know people, you may not be doing it. Like, again, like just watching the content and keeping all the opinions to yourself isn't enough, right? Like, you got to share the information. You got to support people that are sharing the truth. So then, and the next thing to bring up too, another reason, speaking of this whole situation, is the virus may add as many as 150 million people into extreme poverty by 2021. Now, again, this is all people ever talked about. Oh, don't you want to save lives? You know, you won't wear your mask. You're going to kill people. You don't want to lock everything down and destroy everyone's businesses and livelihoods. You know, you hate people, right? And this is another clever argument I've heard people come up with that doesn't make any sense. Is, oh, you know, it's kind of, you know, contradictory that you're pro-life, but you're not pro-mask or pro-lockdown. Well, no, that doesn't make any sense because, you know, you want to kill, I mean, 150 million people sliding into extreme poverty compared to the literal handful of people that will die because we didn't destroy businesses and destroy livelihoods. Like, come on, the numbers aren't even close to comparable. It's very ironic that people can make these comparisons, right? It's incredibly ironic, and it's just crazy too, because again, their whole argument is based around, oh, we got to save lives, even though they provide absolutely no evidence whatsoever that their worldviews will save lives. Like, has anyone provided any evidence that the lockdown, there's a clear correlation between lockdowns and or mask mandates and a reduction in deaths, even cases? No, they've never provided any of that information. So again, until they can do that, again, because extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, right? Like, citing one area that had mask mandates and had the cases go down, therefore everywhere should do it. No, that's not enough, right? Show me some studies and show me a lot of areas, not just a handful, right? Um, Another very interesting story here. Man convicted of trying to join ISIS granted overnight privileges to visit ski resort with girlfriend. Again, it's very nice that, you know, we're all worried about the rights of terrorists, but yet the rights of the everyday individual that hasn't committed any crimes, you know, they don't matter, right? The rights of terrorists, you know, really got to be worried about those people's rights, but you know, the everyday person, yeah, they don't matter. Again, it just bothers me so much. I don't know how. Again, the mental gymnastics that people play to have to defend this kind of stuff, it's very astounding. It's incredibly astounding. And the last thing to bring up here is a very funny actual tweet, in that from Andy No. Now, again, Andy No always posts these mugshots of people that are arrested for rioting. They're usually Antifa people. And again, like, these are the people that are in Antifa. Like, not to mention, like, look at how old some of these people are. Like, the oldest person here is 37, and I mean, this person looks like they're in their 60s. Like, every one of these people look like they're at least 10 years older than they actually are, and not to mention they look like, my God, you must have been abused a lot as a kid or something like that. And again, it's very sad, but again, like, these are the people that think Trump is a fascist. Like, it's so ironic that, you know, these people literally probably are mentally ill, at least many of them. And yet these are the people that we're taking seriously as a society. Like, these are the people we're bending over backwards to. Like, how does it make any sense? I mean, it really doesn't. But anyway, like I say, it's a very ironic thing. And again, make sure you go follow Andy now too. He's a very good follow on Twitter if you don't follow him. But anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. So if you like the video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you follow me on those other platforms. All those links are below. If you want to support me, I got links for that as well. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out those links.